Sagittarius, something big is about to happen. God is protecting you. And someone still holds you in their heart. Have you ever felt like something very close was approaching, but you couldn't quite name it? A soft intuition, like wind brushing your shoulder, like a gaze sent your way from somewhere far beyond, where the eyes can't reach. But the heart gently trembles? If you are a Sagittarius, or carry this sign's energy within your birth chart, then perhaps you are sensing something very few can hear, a whisper of destiny. Something big, like an undercurrent from the universe, quietly drifting toward you, not loud, but powerful enough to shift the entire map of your life. Not to disrupt your world, but to awaken you. To remind you that you were born for something greater. You are not merely a being trying to survive life. You are a soul on its way back to its true mission. And right now, as you hear these words, this is no coincidence. Something is about to happen. A door is opening. And on the other side, is something that could completely change the course of your life. In this video, we will explore signs from the universe, from astrological energy, from God Himself, the one who placed within your heart a flame that never goes out. We will uncover why the shift you're sensing is not an illusion, but a clear sign that a new chapter is beginning. A gift that only those brave enough can receive. And as you prepare to walk into that journey, there is a soul who still carries the image of you in their heart, like a melody that has never ended, echoing quietly each nightfall. Still remembering you. Still whispering your name in dreams no one else knows. Not because they haven't forgotten, but because you never truly left their inner world. If these words are touching something within you, if your heart stirs even slightly, then I invite you to do this. Leave a simple affirmation in the comments, like a commitment to yourself and a signal to the universe. You could write, "I am ready to receive my great destiny." A simple sentence, yet sometimes, it's in the simple things that miracles begin. And if you feel this video holds meaning for you, give it a like. Share it as a spiritual gift to someone else who may also be on the path of awakening. Because when positive energy is shared, it can reach souls you never expected. There's something unique about Sagittarius, something that sets you apart, even if you haven't always seen it in yourself. You keep moving toward the light, even when surrounded by darkness. Not because you're fearless, but because deep down, you believe that somewhere at the end of the road, there will be an answer. There will be truth. There will be meaning. And that faith is what makes you a rare soul in this human journey. In astrology, Sagittarius is the soul of expansion, of knowledge, of spirit, of life's horizons. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck, faith, and divine law, you don't travel just to explore. You travel because you're called. Called toward uncharted lands. Called toward questions others dare not ask. And sometimes, carrying that invisible mission makes you feel lonely in your own life. As if you're living in a loud world, while carrying a whisper no one else can hear. Maybe you've asked yourself, why am I always the one who has to be strong? Why am I the one who always forgives, always trusts, always starts over? And maybe you've grown tired of being the one who sees the good in others, even when you're the one getting hurt. But my dear, that very thing, that heart that refuses to let go of the light, is the clearest proof that you are living true to the noble essence of a Sagittarius. This world needs people like you. Because in a society where faith is easily sold off, where everything is measured by instant results and surface validation, you choose to live deeper. You are not drawn to fleeting glories. You seek the truth. Not the truth everyone wants to hear, but the truth that sets the soul free. And you've lived that way, quietly, resiliently, even when no one noticed. I know you've silently helped someone without ever telling a soul. I know you've pushed through the night, simply because you believed that if you didn't fall, someone else might be saved. I know you've forgiven without an apology, not because you're weak, but because you chose peace over retaliation. That kind of strength doesn't need recognition. And the universe sees it. This moment, your current state of feeling different, is not random. There are things that once excited you, now feel outdated. Relationships that once meant everything, now fade like old photographs. And maybe you feel confused. Not sure if you're lost, or being led to a new beginning. The answer is both. Because sometimes, to step into destiny, you must let go of the version of yourself you used to be. To find the light, you must walk into the uncertain dark. And to reach the greatness that's waiting, you must release what once felt like home. I know it's not easy. Letting go has never been gentle. But you are not walking alone. There is a hand that's protecting you, quietly. There is a source of light guiding you, even when you haven't yet realized it. And there is a soul, though no longer beside you, who still carries your image in their heart. They haven't forgotten you. And maybe, a part of you hasn't forgotten them either. This is the moment you need to pause, not to give up, but to listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to the whisper inside that you've been too busy to notice. Because not everyone has intuition as strong as Sagittarius. But you do. Your soul was designed to guide others, not through logic, but through deep sensing. And when you live aligned with that intuition, you don't just heal yourself. You accidentally become a light for someone else. You may not realize it, but you've inspired someone, just by living true to your heart. And today, I only want to remind you. What you've done, even in silence, has not gone unnoticed. The universe is taking note. God is smiling. And life is preparing to offer you something miraculous, not as a reward, but as a natural outcome of how you've lived so quietly, so kindly. And if there's one thing I wish you would do now, it's this. Trust what is unfolding. Even if it confuses you. Even if it looks nothing like what you imagined. Because Sagittarius is not called to walk the safe path. You were born to walk the path of truth. And perhaps that moment is getting very close. I wonder, how long has it been since you truly trusted yourself? How long has it been since you forgot that your heart is a magnificent compass? A guiding instrument that God placed inside you before you even knew who you were? Maybe today is the time to return. Return to that original knowing. Return to that whisper. Return to yourself, the Sagittarius who always reaches for the light. Not for applause, but because the light is your very nature. And if you are ready, if your heart resonates with what I've just said, then leave a statement, not just for me, but for yourself. Write it down. I am ready to receive my great destiny. So the universe knows you are willing to walk into what's been waiting for you. So your soul knows you are no longer hesitating. And so you can begin again, not from the start, but from the place you truly belong. And that is where we'll continue. Where an old cycle has just closed. And something new is being born in silence. But before we move into the next part, I just want you to pause for a moment, close your eyes, and ask yourself, am I ready for what greatness is about to come? If the answer is yes, then come with me. Because the miracle is only beginning. There are seasons in life that come without warning. Without clear endings. Only a growing silence within. As if your soul is whispering, it's time. Not time to rush. But time to clear. Clear the inside. Clear the illusions. The ties that no longer hold life. The promises that no longer have a heartbeat. And maybe this is that moment. A cycle is closing, Sagittarius. Not with tragedy, but with maturity. You're stepping into a phase where you no longer live to please someone. No longer try to keep up a good image just to be loved. No longer pretend to be strong so no one sees you hurting. You're starting to be honest with yourself. And that is the very first door into true destiny. There's something very subtle about the Sagittarius journey. You don't change by loud actions. You change by seeing things differently. You don't need grand declarations. But you will quietly walk away from what no longer connects. You will say no to what once drained you. You will smile and walk on, without bitterness. Because you know, the deepest transformations always begin within. This is not just a phase. This is an inner rebirth that not everyone is brave enough to walk through. But you are doing it. Even if it hurts. Even with the regrets. You are choosing what is right over what is easy. And this is where I want to pause. To honor you. You've gone through so much. And what I admire most is not your strength. It's the fact that you never lost your softness along the way. You still believe in love, even after being betrayed. You still help, even after being used. You still give, even when you've received nothing in return. You still wish others well, even when you've had so little left in your hands. This world needs more people like you, not loud, not flashy, but real and kind. I call this phase silent maturity. There are no spotlights. No one applauds you when you choose to walk away from a toxic relationship. No one congratulates you when you finally stop holding on to something that already died in your heart. But it's in those quiet moments that you are being reborn. Because true maturity doesn't come from how much we achieve. It comes from having the courage to let go of what used to be our anchor, to move toward the truth of our soul. And maybe, this is the question you should ask yourself now. Am I staying because of love, or because of fear? Am I holding on to something, because it's right, or just because it's familiar? Sagittarius, you were not born to live in repetition. You are the sign of expansion, of movement, of breaking beyond the familiar boundaries. And your soul knows exactly when it's time to change the space, the relationship, or the way you treat yourself. The miracle is this. When you are truly brave enough to end something that has run its course, you don't lose. You are set free. You reclaim space for what is truly aligned. You reclaim energy for new journeys. You reclaim your right to choose with your heart. And the universe, the moment it senses you're ready to let go, it also becomes ready to send you new gifts. It's no coincidence that lately you've felt like you're filtering your relationships. Someone you once saw as a soulmate now feels distant. A place that used to feel safe now feels restrictive. A job that once made you proud now feels dull. All of those feelings, they're not wrong. They are signals. They show that your inner vibration is shifting. That you are rising. That you are no longer the same version of yourself. And when you change from within, what no longer fits will naturally fall away. Don't cling. Don't explain. Don't feel guilty for having changed. You are being guided by a wisdom greater than logic, the intuition of your soul. And now, maybe you feel empty. But you know what? That emptiness is exactly where miracles will take root. I believe this. What's coming to you won't look like anything you've known before. It won't come with drama. But with peace. With clarity. With a resonance that requires no effort. Someone will arrive. Or a door will open. Or an idea will burst into light. And you will know, because your heart won't doubt it anymore. You will feel the peace it carries, not loud, not demanding, but deeply certain. And I want you to remember this. Peace is not the absence of storms. It is the place where you no longer get swept away by what doesn't belong to you. If these words touch you, leave behind a simple yet powerful statement. I am ready to close what no longer belongs to me. Because when you say that, you don't just set yourself free. You also release the unseen people still tethered to your past. And once you become lighter, the light begins to enter. We've walked through the feeling of transformation. We've touched the inner void that needs to be heard. But the most beautiful part is still ahead. Because in the next part, you will begin to see why the universe is pulling you away from cramped spaces, to lead you into a place your soul has always longed for. A place where someone, though they once left, has never stopped holding you in their heart. Some endings don't happen because love is gone, but because something inside the two people wasn't ready yet. Not brave enough. Not healed enough. And so, they walked away, not because the love was missing, but because they didn't know how to hold it without hurting each other. Have you ever felt that, Sagittarius? A relationship with no name, no closure, and no return, but also, no forgetting? Someone who was once your entire world, but now lives only as a quiet sigh in your nights. And the strangest part is, you don't even blame them. You just remember. Gently. Softly. And sometimes, you wonder, do they still remember you? I'm not saying this lightly, my dear. I know there are people who leave without a single word. They only leave a void. And it's that very void that keeps you from finding closure. Because not all endings are clear. Some things don't break with words, but with a look. With silence. With a morning that no longer greets you. And then, we carry that fragment with us, quietly, without anyone knowing. But today, let me tell you this. The soul never forgets. And if someone once truly connected with you, not just with a touch, but with a quiet resonance, then they cannot forget you. They may not say it. They may have tried to build a new life. But every time the seasons change, every time a familiar song plays, every time they pass a place filled with memories, their heart aches for something they've never been able to name. And that someone is you. I'm not telling you this to bring you back to the past. I'm telling you this so you understand that love, even when no longer present, can still be a living energy. It doesn't need to be held on to, but it needs to be acknowledged. So you stop blaming yourself for still feeling. And so you can be free, because not everything that lingers is meant to be kept. Sometimes, love doesn't come to stay. It comes to help you become a deeper, wiser, truer version of yourself. I used to think letting go was an act of denial. But now I know, letting go is an act of love. It's how the soul says to you, I choose peace over attachment. It's how you no longer need answers. And still, you can keep going, with a heart no longer bound by what no longer belongs to you. And you know what? When you truly learn that, you no longer need them to return. You only need one thing, the truth. The truth that you loved completely. That you didn't walk away out of fear, but out of self-respect. That you didn't let love die in bitterness, but allowed it to live on, in light. And that is one of the highest forms of love. Love that doesn't need possession, doesn't need a reply, doesn't need a perfect ending, yet still remains gentle and deeply human. If you're listening to these words and someone quietly rises in your heart, then let me say the words you've never been able to. I miss you. But I don't need you to return for me to feel my worth. I am whole. I love myself enough. And I know, even if we're no longer together, I'm still grateful that I once loved you. You may never say that aloud. But if it feels true, then you've already come a long way on your healing journey. And the beautiful thing is, when you heal, you begin to attract a completely different kind of relationship. The ones that are clear. The ones where people don't come to fill your emptiness, but to see you as whole. They don't ask you to change. They don't make you suppress your feelings. They come to live the truth with you. And when that happens, you don't have to try so hard. You only need to show up. If you've ever carried an unfinished love in your heart, you're not alone. So many others are walking through the same feeling, in their own way. And if you'd like to, leave a comment with just one line. I have loved with all my heart. And now, I'm ready to love again, but in a more mature way. Because saying it out loud isn't for them to hear. It's for you. So you can hear yourself. And so your soul knows you're ready to move forward, not with the weight, but with the light. We've traveled through memory. We've touched the heart of someone who still carries you, even in silence. But what's coming to you is something entirely new. An opportunity. An invitation from the universe. A material turning point, with a spiritual awakening inside it. And that is what we will open together in the next part. Have you ever invested in something no one else could see? Not in stocks. Not in real estate. But in yourself. You invested in your peace by choosing to pause at the right moment. You invested in your inner freedom by letting go of what no longer reflected who you are. And maybe, at times, you've doubted yourself. Were the choices I made really the right ones? I understand that feeling. That moment when you spent money on a trip no one supported. Simply because you needed to find yourself again. When you chose to withdraw from social circles to preserve your energy. When you learned to say no, even knowing you might be misunderstood. And today, I want to tell you something very clearly. You made the right choice. Because in astrology, Jupiter, the planet that rules Sagittarius, is not just a symbol of outward expansion, but also of inward growth, wisdom, personal values, and faith in a higher order. The things you've done recently, even the smallest, were seeds you quietly planted in the soil. And maybe back then, you didn't see anything bloom. But today, those seeds are starting to sprout. And they will blossom. Perhaps now you're beginning to sense it. An opportunity is drawing near. Not loud. Not showy. But solid and steady. Someone is beginning to see your value. A career door is quietly opening in a way you didn't expect. An idea flashes in your mind, as if it had always been there. Just waiting for you to be ready. And the miracle is, you don't need to chase it. Because when you live in alignment with your own frequency, what's meant for you will find you. This is a profound lesson I learned in my own journey. Not every outcome comes from effort. Some things only arrive when you learn how to wait. Not passive waiting, but intentional waiting. The kind where you stop forcing everything to fit into your plan. Where you realize, you don't have to prove anything anymore, just show up. In the right place, at the right time, with the right heart. And that's when the magic begins to unfold. I know, in today's world, people often worship speed. Those who act faster, do more, see results quicker, are seen as right. But for Sagittarius, the lesson is the complete opposite. When you dare to slow down, to live more deeply, to step back in order to see the whole picture, that's when you truly lead. You don't compete, but you attract. You don't boast, but you earn respect. You don't speak much, but your words carry weight. Because you've lived. And you've experienced life with your soul, not just with calculations. If you've been waiting for a sign to begin something, this is your sign. If you've been considering investing in a project, a journey of learning, or a new direction, this is the universe nodding to you. Why? Because you've cleared enough. You've matured enough. And you've grown quiet enough to receive what's truly meant for you. Opportunities don't come when you're perfectly ready. They come when your soul is ready. And you are ready. If your heart is stirring as you hear this, I invite you to do one small, but powerful, thing. Leave a sentence from your heart. Something like, I am worthy of the opportunity that's arriving. I will no longer hold myself back. Not for me to read. Not for others to see. but for you to witness yourself stepping into a new version of who you are. And if this message holds meaning for you, share this video as a way to spread it forward. Because somewhere out there, someone may be standing right where you once stood. And your message might help them take the next step. Do you see it now? The path you've walked has not been wasted. Every pain, every decision, every silence has become a current. A current guiding you to the right place, at the right time, to receive what has always belonged to you. And this is only the beginning. In the next part, we'll open something even deeper. A choice. An invitation from destiny. What kind of love will you choose? The kind that keeps you guessing? Or the kind that brings you peace? Some people enter our lives not to stay, but to teach us something essential. They come like an unfamiliar breeze, stirring everything, unsettling what once seemed secure, then they leave. No goodbyes. Nothing left behind but a vast silence. And we, the ones who remain, carry that silence through the years, calling it an unfinished relationship. But in truth, it became something. It became part of us. It became a turning point in the heart. A place every connection afterward must somehow walk through to get closer. Sagittarius, I know you've been there. Someone who made you feel seen and invisible at the same time. A connection that had no label, but touched something very real inside you. A soul that made you ask, was this destiny, or just a test to teach me how to let go? And I know that question is never easy to answer. Because you love deeply, and you love sincerely. Sagittarius is the sign of freedom, yes. But you are also an unabashed dreamer. Once your heart is open, you don't love halfway. You give it all, your passion, your trust, your dream of a future built together. And maybe that's why, when you were left in silence, you didn't scream. You didn't chase. You simply kept walking, with an emptiness in your chest that only you could feel. I'm not here to tell you to forget. I'm not here to tell you to forgive either. I'm here to remind you, it's time to choose again. Not between this person or that one. But to choose whether your heart will keep living in the past, or be fully alive in the present. Because right now, maybe you're standing between two energies. One person, clear, warm, never asking you to be anyone but yourself. And another, distant, silent, still stirring your heart every time they cross your mind. But never close enough for you to feel safe. So the question is, what will you choose? I won't answer that for you. But I can share something I've learned, through many wounds, and many nights asking the same question you might be asking now. True love doesn't confuse you. True love doesn't make you guess. It doesn't play hide and seek with your feelings. It doesn't make you question your worth. True love lets you breathe deeper. Lets you feel like yourself. No need to prove. No need to be overly strong. No need to carry everything alone. And if someone once hurt you, but still lives quietly in your heart today, then yes. You have the right to remember. But you also have the right not to let that feeling keep you stuck. Love is not a reward for those who always get it right. Love is a gift for those who dare to love, kindly, sincerely, and without giving up on healing. If now you're being offered a chance to welcome a new person, a new way of loving, then ask yourself, do I want a love that makes me feel secure? Or one that leaves me waiting in vain? I'm not denying that some beautiful love stories begin with silence and waiting. But I know this for sure. The love most worth having is the love that never asks you to lose yourself to keep it. And you, Sagittarius, you've come too far to go back to that blurry space. You've learned to hold yourself on lonely nights. You've had the courage not to text when you really wanted to. You've had the self-respect not to ask, do you still think of me? So today, if you're being offered a more mature kind of love, Don't step back just because something in the past didn't turn out right. If any of this is touching you, I invite you to write just one short line in the comments, like a promise to your own heart. I have loved enough to learn how to love again, with clarity, stability, and no more confusion. Let the universe know you're ready. Let yourself know you're no longer standing where you used to be. And if you're in a current relationship, where things aren't perfect, but there's still respect, effort, and real affection, then ask yourself, could it be that you're already in something precious, but your past hasn't allowed you to fully appreciate it? Sometimes, we lose the present not because it's wrong, but because we haven't left the broken pieces behind. But my dear, it's time. Time to look at the one who is here, not the one who left. Time to thank the past and open your heart to the now. Because what's waiting for you is a love that holds your hand without holding you down. A companionship that doesn't require you to fight to be seen. A relationship where you can simply be yourself. With all your fire, your ideals, and the gentle strength of a Sagittarius who has grown. And in the next part, as we begin to step out of the emotional realm, a new energy is rising. Stability. A financial foundation. A quiet promise from the universe that what you've planted is starting to bloom. There's something curious about life's journey. The things that matter most often don't come with applause. They arrive after long, unseen days. After quiet efforts no one witnessed. After mornings where you pulled yourself out of bed with nothing but a thin thread of hope, things will get better. And then one day, not even a special day, you look back and realize you've come a long way. You no longer resent like you used to. No longer ask why they left you. No longer compare yourself to others, or demand life be fair. Instead, you feel peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer in chaos within. My dear, if you're in that space now, or just taking your first steps into it, then I want to congratulate you. Because you are entering a new vibration. The realm of blooming, both spiritually and in your material world. In astrology, when Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius, moves into stable territory after chaos, it often brings opportunities for financial growth, career expansion, and a sense of inner abundance. And Sagittarius, you are the one who benefits most from this shift. Not because luck landed on you, but because you planted the seeds with your patience, integrity, and kindness, long before anyone else saw the soil. I believe this deeply, and I want to share it with you as both a personal truth and a lesson I've learned from many years of observation. True success doesn't come from how much you have, it comes from how much of yourself you still are after everything. Have you held on to your kindness after being hurt? Have you kept your faith after being betrayed? Do you still dare to love, to live sincerely, even after life has taught you some of its harshest lessons? If you've held on to those things, then you are already richer than most. And because you've held on to your heart, now, material abundance is beginning to come your way. Not as a reward, but as a natural outcome. You might start receiving collaboration offers from people you once admired. You might finally receive the recognition for a project others once doubted. You might be repaid in value, not just in money, but in appreciation. But more importantly, you'll start to feel like you no longer have to prove anything. And that is true wealth. I used to think being rich meant having more. But now I understand. Being rich means having enough, and no longer being ruled by fear. Enough to live in alignment with your values. Enough to say no to what doesn't fit. Enough to help others, without fearing lack. And enough to know that if you ever have to begin again, you will. Because you're no longer afraid to lose. You've learned the most important lesson of maturity. Nothing lasts forever, but everything can begin again. And when you're no longer dependent on something, that's when it willingly stays. Money. opportunities, and the people who truly love you. Because no one can resist someone who lives with truth, with gratitude, and with generosity. If these words are resonating with you, I invite you to take a moment to look at yourself. Not to find what's wrong, but to acknowledge. I've been brave. I've walked through things I thought I couldn't. And now, I'm receiving good things, not because I'm perfect, but because I never gave up. If you feel this reflects your journey, I invite you to write down a small affirmation. Not just to declare it, but as a spiritual offering to the universe. Speech balloon. I open my heart to receive the stability and abundance I deserve from my journey. This sentence, simple as it is, can become a calling for aligned opportunities, healthy connections, and the guidance of your soul in the days to come. And if you're still on the healing path, still rebuilding your life piece by piece, please remember. Nothing is too late. No one is unworthy. And no moment is too small to begin. As long as you don't give up on yourself, the universe won't give up on you. We've walked together through so many emotions. From pain, silence, and awakening, to rebirth and now, to stability. But my dear, the journey of Sagittarius doesn't stop here. Because once you are grounded, your soul will again look to the sky. Something sacred, greater than success, is drawing near. Not just so you can receive, but so you can become the one who gives. Not just so you can feel full, but so you can become the light that guides others. And that is where the next part will take you. A sacred awakening. A phase where you don't just live, but inspire. My dear, if you've listened all the way to this moment, then this is no longer a coincidence. It's a whisper. From the universe. From the deepest part of you. From the one who has always watched over you, even when you no longer believed you were worthy. Maybe you've gone through long days, not knowing where you were going. Maybe you've held yourself up for far too long, trying to look strong, even as you were breaking inside. Maybe you once believed no one really understood you. But if today, these words have touched something in you, then you are not alone. You are being seen. You are being heard. And you are being protected, like morning light breaking through a heavy fog. Soft but steady. You are Sagittarius, the soul of light, of truth, of sacred journeys. Like the one who carries a torch in the night. Not just to light the path for themselves, but to guide others who are lost. And the journey you're on, even when it feels like you've lost your way, is still a guided path. You don't need to know all the answers. You only need to keep believing. Believe in the rhythm of your own heart. Believe in the light that flickers even in the darkest days. Believe that everything you've lived through was not in vain. If you can, leave one small affirmation for yourself as a way to begin. I'm no longer lost. I am being guided. Because sometimes, what we write down becomes the very door to our transformation. And if you feel this video has said the things you've never had the words to express, share it with someone else who might also be quietly walking through cracks in their own soul. You never know. They might be needing this reminder too. And maybe you will become the light they once desperately searched for. Thank you for being here. Right now. In this exact moment, just you, your heart, and the whisper of the universe brushing against your spirit like a quiet prayer. Thank you for listening with all your heart. Thank you for still choosing the light, even when all around you is darkness. And if you want to continue this journey with me, hit the subscribe button so we can meet again. The next time the universe whispers something just for you.